Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions, friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So, folks, big news just dropped. Big breaking news just dropped that I know for a lot of Lions fans and for some podcasters is going to be not only extremely welcoming news, but it's also going to be news that absolutely is going to excite the ever-living hell out of them. What news am I referring to? Well, if you haven't figured out from the thumbnail image, it has to do with edge rushers. And it specifically has to do with 2 edge rushers. It has to deal with Aidan Hutchinson and it has to deal with Zadarius Smith. Now, what news am I referring to? News was just reported, literally not that long ago, that Brad Holmes is first and foremost talking with both of these guys. Now, what is he talking to them about? What exactly is the conversation? What exactly is going on here? Well, let's first and foremost talk about Aidan Hutchinson. The news supposedly around Aidan Hutchinson is that Brad Holmes is signaling that the Lions are going to start doing contract talks here relatively shortly. He specifically stated that they have not started just yet, but that they are gearing up, that they are getting ready to start having early conversations and early talks about getting him re-signed. So, what does that mean? Number one, it means that Brad Holmes is now getting ready to get one of the biggest pieces that the Lions have on their roster to be officially signed long-term, to officially be locked in as a Lion for at least in my opinion, once the contract is finally, actually negotiated, signed to, agreed to, the whole 9 yards, at least probably for the next 4 or 5 years. Because that's typically how Brad Holmes has done these contracts. He usually will sign players to a 4-year deal. We have not seen him do 5 yet, but we have seen plenty of 4s. We've seen a couple of 3s. Now, why is this big news? Well, it's big news because of the fact that this entire offseason, we have seen a number of big-time edge rushers that have been getting massive contracts. And one of the things that has been a huge talking point, one of the things that's been a huge concern for Lions fans is, okay, with each and every edge rusher that keeps getting signed to a new contract, all it means is that, hey, you know what? The asking price for Aidan Hutchinson to Brad Holmes could potentially go up even further. Now, we don't know exactly what Aidan Hutchinson is going to ask for. We don't know exactly what his agent is going to ask for, but chances are it's going to be up there. I would be wholeheartedly surprised if, Aidan Hutchinson's contract is not within the top 5 to top 3 earning capability of all other edge rushers that are currently out there. And especially when you consider the likes of guys that have been getting contracts this offseason. Obviously, we know that Max Crosby got a contract. Obviously, we know Myles Garrett got a contract. Obviously, we know that, TJ Watt just got a contract. So it's like, okay, here. There have been quite a number of big-time edge rushers that have gotten new contracts, contract extensions from their ball clubs. And it is great news that Brad Holmes is wanting to start having these conversations sooner rather than later. And it's also great news that, again, the Lions are making a push right now to make sure that arguably their best defensive player is locked down long term. So for me, that is already great news. That is already big time news because, again, everybody has been wondering, okay, Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions, they've got $45+ million worth of cap space here. When in the hell are they going to use it? Well, now we officially know that one of the moves that they're planning on doing, at least, in the near future, how near, I have no idea, but in the near future is they are planning to get Aidan Hutchinson signed to a long-term contract. They want to get him locked down long-term, which makes absolutely big and great sense. However, though, as I also stated, that is not the only news that we have when we're talking about the edge rushing component. The other big news is that on 97.1 Ticket this morning, according to Brad Holmes, there are still constant communications that are going on with edge rusher Zadarius Smith. They are still talking. They're still consistently and constantly communicating. And there is still mutual interest between both parties to reunite to get a deal done. Now, why is this big news? Well, it's big news because I'm going to say this right now. The entire damn offseason, Lions fans have been clamoring, begging, pleading, if not demanding that Brad Holmes bring this guy back. And I mean, everybody in Detroit wants to see him back. Hell, his girlfriend has been saying, hey, you need to go back to the Lions. You need to go back to Detroit. Hell, his freaking nephew who is on the team, the wide receiver, I think, of Meeks, he has been pretty much, begging that the Lions, and obviously that his uncle will come back and will, they'll be on the same team together. They will be able to play together if he should make the roster. But the reason why this is big news is because, again, there's been a lot of speculation on, okay, when is Zadarius Smith going to sign? What is going to happen? Is he going to sign here? Is somebody else going to nab him? Well, again, further reports, as we just saw, have come out that so far, the only team that has consistently expressed interest, the only team that has constantly been in communication with Zadarius Smith has been the Detroit Lions. No other team seems to be talking to him. No other team seems to be, expressing any interest about bringing him in. Which that means that not only, one, do the Lions have a leg up in that department, plus all the other stuff that I was just talking about, how, his nephew wants him to come back, his girlfriend has been pushing him to come back, plus on top of that, Zadarius Smith himself said that he was soon going to be signing back with the Detroit Lions. That's also another leg up. And then, on top of that, Zadarius Smith himself stated he wants to come back here. He wants to play for us. So it's like, listen, every single sign, every single indicator, every single point is, looking at the fact that the Lions and Zadarius Smith are eventually going to get a deal done. Now, there is a slight little caveat to the end of all that. According to Brad Holmes, he said it takes two to make a deal get done. Now, what exactly does that mean? Again, it's the same speculation that we've been having over the last, couple of weeks, if not months of this offseason. Is it because, Zadarius Smith is not wanting to be in training camp? Possibly, but I don't think that that's probably the most likely answer. Again, I think it has more to do with a timing measure as far as, okay, you know what? There's the whole training camp situation that's going on. You got all these bodies that are currently in camp. It's a numbers game, so that might be part of it. The other part of it, though I don't know how much that is actually going to play into it, also has to deal with the potential of what the contract would look like as far as the monetary component. Because again, we don't know exactly what Zadarius Smith is going to ask for, nor do we know exactly what the Lions have been offering him or have been, expressing in these constant communications. There's no way to officially know. But here's what I do know. Here's what I can say with 100%, certainty. I can tell you this right now. If this were to happen, if the Lions were to actually get both of these guys on the same team, all hell is going to break loose. All literal hell is going to break loose, and I'm going to tell you why. We literally just saw it this morning when, Dan Campbell was being asked about how the offense and defense is going back and forth and how it looks like the defense clearly has a leg up right now in camp over the offense. And Dan Campbell was talking about how there's great energy, there's great chemistry, the team, the defensive unit is really gelling, they're doing a lot of things right. And that's against our offense. The best offense last year. And mind you, even though that this offense is clearly, not winning more battles than not against our defense, that's not a bad thing. This is still a top offense. And the fact that our defense, the one unit that a lot of people were concerned about possibly being able to play at a championship level this year, especially after what happened last year with the injuries, the fact that that defense is playing so well right now without Aleem McNeil in camp and without Zadarius Smith in camp, imagine if you will, what that defense is going to look like when you've got Zadarius Smith, you've got Tyleik Williams, you've got DJ Reader, you've got Aleem McNeil, and you've got Hutchinson all across the front. And then on top of that, you've still got sprinkled in there Marcus Davenport, Ahmed Hazanin, Ukwu, Muhammad, and all the rest of them. Dude. And then behind that, you've got the linebacking core. You've got the sticky defense that is absolutely just smothering wide receivers. I'm telling you this right now. Everybody wants to talk about how, they don't know what to make of the offense just yet. Well, I'm telling you this right now. The offense is going to be fine. I have no doubt about that in my mind. The offense will, again, be fine. It will move on without Ben Johnson 100%. The offense is just, again, trying to figure out and tweak a little things. It's trying to get itself, fully synchronized and fully locked in. And that's why Dan Campbell said, hey, we're right there. We're just needing to tweak a couple of things. We're just trying to hone a couple of things, perfect a couple of things. A step here, a step there, person being in the right position. And again, all that takes is practice. All that takes is reps. It's very correctable. It's very easy to fix. And again, the last time we had this conversation, Dan Campbell was right. So I'm not at all concerned about that. But here's what I can tell you. I can tell you this right now. If the Lions do get Zadarius Smith in, which is looking more and more prominent with the news that what Brad Holmes just stated, I'm telling you this right now, we're going to have the best defense in the NFL. We will have the best defense in the NFL. And when you pair the defense that we're most likely going to have with the offense that we already have, I'm telling you this right now, if the Lions sign Zadarius Smith, you might as well start writing checks and might as well start writing tickets for us to go to the Super Bowl, because that will be the instantaneous reaction from almost every major NFL analyst. That will be the major reaction from almost every major news outlet. You got Hutch, you've got freaking Davenport, you got freaking, Zadarius back, you've got McNeil back, you've got Tyleik Williams, you got DJ Reader, you got Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, freaking you've got on top of that, Terry and Arnold and DJ Reed. I mean, dude, that is one formidable, scary, violent defense. And again, that's not even factoring in the offense. And at that point, then, everybody should have no worries, no concerns, really, about what will happen when we get ready to face against those more prominent teams with, scrambling quarterbacks. Because when you have both edges secured, you've got the middle secured, you've got free-roaming linebackers, and you've got sticky defensive cornerbacks and safeties, that is a defense that will smother opponents. That's why I'm saying, this signal that Brad Holmes just sent up, it has massive implications, and it means that a move of some type, whether it's Zadarius Smith getting signed back, whether it's contract extension for, Aidan Hutchinson, one of those two things is about to drop here really damn soon. How soon? Again, I don't know. But here's hoping that it's sooner on that front rather than later. But anyway, folks, big breaking news, very exciting breaking news. I just had to talk about this. So, having said that, I'm going to end this episode and say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the other content that I've pushed out. I also want to encourage y'all, please, make sure you subscribe if you like the content, but also if you just subscribed or you subscribed in the past and you've not yet had a chance to do so, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content I push out. Hope everybody out there's got something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.